Welcome back to TeamStarCityGames.com. I am Cedric Phillips. I'm sitting here with the Hall of Famer, the innovator, Patrick Chapin. How are you?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm fantastic. You're sitting at, right now, X3.
Correct. With
the potential for a top 8 here with a win and a little fingers crossed draw action.
Yeah, I'm 2 rounds left. Probably 101.
Okay.
Is
now,
what we're looking at.
You and Paul Rietzl are the 2 players on Team Star City Games that are playing this black-white deck. A lot of people have been wondering, what's the deck list? How did you guys come to this? So explain really quickly, because we're going to go over the cards in a second, exactly how you came to black-white as a color combination, and not Grixis for a change.
I built like 35 decks for this format, and 2 of them were Grixis. I built like 35 decks for this format, and just lots of them got dismissed in it early on, but a number of them seemed like they had promise. And as I was just evolving the different decks, the black-white deck was just winning more and seemed good against the things I thought people would play. Okay. Like various monocolor decks and control. Okay. And I really just wanted to, basically it was the realization of how much of an impact Thoughtseize has in the format, and I kind of just wanted to play the best Thoughtseize deck. And then when I got to New York to test with V and John and Sam and Owen and Huey and yeah, everybody
else,
yeah, Reed, and they let me know how good Doomblade was, and I tried. I was like, yep, you're absolutely right. Doomblade's just unbelievable in this format. And leading up to this event, we had a really good mono blue deck that I really liked. Brad's red-green deck was well tuned, but it wasn't really, didn't blow me away. It wasn't really the style I was looking for. Okay. And I thought the blue deck was real good, but I thought that the, I guess I kind of thought there'd be a lot more other people playing Devotion. Okay. And the black-white deck was very good against Devotion decks and blue decks in general.
Well, I know that you've been cleaning up on Devotion decks for most of the tournament. And one of the cards that seems to be really good against those Devotion decks is Desecration Demon, but that's, from what it seems like, this might just be the best threat in your deck in general.
Yeah, I mean, Desecration Demon is definitely the best creature in the deck. Okay. I mean, there's lots of other good creatures, but Desecration Demon is remarkable because so few people play removal. Mm-hmm. He can't even be Doombladed either, which is the best card, but so few people play removal, and so whenever you're playing against somebody who's just all creatures and you have all creatures, then the demon's just a 6/6 flyer. You know, he just eats somebody every single turn. Sure. All you have to do is slow the game down, and if you have enough removal, it's not even a problem.
Now, side by side with the demon, a card that probably works pretty well with it is the Whip of Erebos. This is of course, the Erebos' equipment that actually, you know, lets you gain life and lifelink, and then, you know, there's the interaction everyone knows about with Obzedat and that. But how has that card performed for you this weekend? Well,
so going into this tournament, I was still up on the fence about whether or not to play the Whip, but Rietzl insisted we're going to play Whip. Okay. You know, he added Whip to the deck when he got there. When he got to the castle, I didn't even have Whip in the deck yet, okay. And you know, I thought about it, but he insisted that one Whip goes in. He took a few test draws. It was amazing in the like 2 games that he drew it. So he's like, we're playing it.
Sold immediately.
And I was like, all right, you know a lot more about white weenies than I do, so I'm going to go with it. And then yesterday I played against a mono green deck that had, it was a Devotion to green deck. Okay. At one point he has Big Garrick, Domri Rod, a creature, 7 cards in hand. I have no board. Okay. And I'm at low life, and I'm like, well, I guess there's nothing I can draw, right? And I drew the Whip, and I was like, oh, Whip, get back Obzedat. Okay. Obzedat attacks Garrick. Okay. I gain 7 life, so I have enough life to have a little bit of a cushion. And then next turn, get back Lifebane Zombie so that I can kill Damarad and get a card out of his hand and plan my turns out. And even though he played like a 7/7, an 8/8, and 2 other creatures next turn, I ended up winning very easily after gaining 60-something life from the Whip and getting back Obzedat 3 times. And plus he stays. Obviously, everybody should know the Obzedat trick, which is if you whip Obzedat back and then exile him at the end of the turn, you get to keep him. Yeah. But he just killed Obzedat over and over again, so Obzedat kept coming back.
Just keep lashing the Whip and bringing it back.
Yeah.
Pretty good clean living. Now, you mentioned...
yes, the Whip has been excellent.
Now, you mentioned White Weenie is something that, again, Paul is known for, you not so much. But one of those smaller guys, and this is a card that a lot of people saw upon release, was Soldier of Pantheon. And it looks kind of weird to see this card side by side with Desecration Demon, the Whip, and a lot of removal, and the card that we're going to go to after this. But explain the Soldier a little bit and how this got into the deck.
Soldier of the Pantheon is just a fantastic Magic card. You don't have to play an aggressive deck to use it. Like a lot of the a lot of 2/1 creatures for 1 generally only go in really aggressive decks. This guy's got some defensive abilities that are so strong, I think you can play him in control decks or mid-range decks or whatever. And he's particularly good here because we have so many creatures, you can be very aggressive when you need to. But on defense, he gains you a few life, and he blocks so many of the creatures people play. Like all these devotion decks have lots of hybrid, because that's one of the best ways to get a lot of symbols for your devotion. And he blocks all those creatures effortlessly. Plus, he can't be Azorius Charmed or Detention Sphered, you know. So he's been an excellent. It's like a removal spell. Part of it is that it's a removal spell that isn't dead against control.
Sure. Which
is kind of the philosophy of this version of Black-White versus what some other people are playing. Was that I thought that the Black-White decks had way too much removal for like to be able to win against control.
Okay.
But if you have creatures that serve as removal, but that are also legitimately good threats against control, like Precinct Captain and Soldier of the Pantheon are, then they do double duty. You know?
That's a good spot to be in, good against control, good against aggro. Now, a card that is kind of interesting, this lineup side by side with this, again, you've got Desecration, you've got Whip of Erebos, you've got Soldier, so you're a little all over the place, and it seems like Read the Bones is the card that maybe ties everything together, makes it all work.
Yeah, you know, it's the classic white Weenie plan of play a white creature on 1, a white creature on 2, and then draw 2 cards on turn 3. Yeah, no, Read the Bones is just a fantastic Magic card. It's just much, much stronger than most of the other draw spells, and certainly stronger than black draw spells in a long time. And partly it's because, like, at the end of the day, you just want to draw some Doomblades.
Sure.
Now, part of it is when you're trying to go up to 4, 5, and 6 cost spells in a deck that has 1 and 2 drops.
Sure.
You run out of land, and so I have to play a lot of land anyway. But you also would get flooded, and the only way to smooth out, the best way to smooth out your draw are the Read the Bones right now.
Okay. Well, so I mean, those are some of the main deck cards. Of course, we're going to look at the sideboard. You talk about wanting to go up to that 5 and 6 area. One of the six drops that you have, another new card, Elspeth Sun's Champion. I think you have one in the main, one in the sideboard, I think?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how does that work out for you so far?
Elspeth's great. There's a mixture of Obzedat's, Blood Barons, and Elspeths, and you want to tune your deck like after game 1 on which of the 2 out of the 3 of them are usually the best.
Okay.
Sometimes you use all 3, but often you want to have just 2 out of the 3.
Okay.
And the second Elspeth is crucial against red-green because they have so many giant monstrous creatures, but it also just is very good against a lot of against the slower creature decks.
Sure. And last, but certainly not least, coming into this tournament, I'm sure that everyone knew that mono red was a strategy people are going to employ. It's been doing well on the Star City Games Open Series circuit. But you don't really know how many people are going to play it, what versions they're going to play it. One card that seems to be a really clean answer to it is Fiendslayer Paladin. It looks like you've employed some of those in your sideboard.
Yeah, so the Fiendslayer Paladins were a concession to our worst matchup, mono red aggro. Okay. Mono red's real bad for us, and we're only playing 3 because Paul said at the end of the day, he's like, come on, we're not really going to beat those guys anyway. Let's just put 3 in so that we don't embarrass ourselves and people just, but no, mono red's pretty hard, and the Paladin, I haven't boarded him in all week, which makes me weekend, which makes me very happy.
Sure. Because
he hasn't, I haven't faced fast red. I faced the Devotion to red deck, but that's both a good matchup and not one where you want the Paladin.
Gotcha. So far, again, Patrick is sitting at X and 3. We can make top 8. Paul Rietzl also playing this deck with the potential to make top 8. You guys are the only 2 people that are really playing this deck, and you guys are absolutely killing it this weekend. I assume if we could do it over again, we'd play the same thing?
Absolutely. And I think the blue deck is awesome too. Yep. But I still think this is the best deck for this tournament.
All right. Well, if people are looking for a cool, innovative take on black-white, they've kind of been all over the place. Mid-rangey, are you aggro? Are you super dedicated to control? I think it's this kind of mishmash of cards that's going to work out the best for you. As again, we do see 2 members of Team Star City Games in Paul Rietzl and right here, Pat Chapin, having a fantastic weekend. So, thank you guys for the deck tech. Patrick, thank you. Good luck the next couple of rounds. And thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thanks.